Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another exciting episode of All About You. In today's segment, I will be going over my top 8 performance at this past weekend's Gen Con. The event was ran very well by TAC Gaming. And of course, I want to thank you Bandai for, showing up there and of course, always, giving your support to your players. Now, before I start the deck profile and show you guys what I played and, I guess did okay because the top 8 performance for me, not really acceptable. It's not a bad performance, but for myself, it's not good enough. When I arrived there, first of all, there was like maybe 60, 65 players at that point in time. TAC Gaming allowed players to have adequate time to fill out their deck list, time for players to get to the venue. So if they were running late, they had that time. What I enjoyed the most about this event was that it was a friendly environment. They promoted having fun and being friendly over being hyper competitive and being very strict. A lot of tournaments I've been to, which I enjoy, have been a little too strict on the time frame where they want to start exactly right on time. They want, they're super heavy competitive where it makes players want to feel like they have to play perfect or have to feel like stressed out during their games. TAC Gaming made it, again, way stress-free, way more interactive as far as giving the players that notion, have fun. Have fun. It's not about winning or losing. It's about enjoying yourself and playing Dragon Ball Super, which I think that's one lesson learned from this past weekend that was very good, and I want to give you guys a thank you. Now, I also want to state that they gave entry right around 1, and every single round afterwards, anytime you won your match or had a draw, you got an additional prizing. That was awesome. Bandai, TAC Gaming, that was great. Now, guys and girls, I'm not going to get too much into my personal life, but, unfortunately, things happened to me this weekend, which is why I wasn't able to perform the way I wanted to. Couldn't get any sleep on Saturday. I couldn't get any sleep Friday going into Saturday. I literally stood 24 hours up, past 24 hours. When you go to tournaments, try to prepare yourself. There might be a lot of things going on in your life. If you feel like you're not up to it, there's no rush. There's no need to force yourself to be present. I want to thank Eric and Eon and Jonathan for, inviting me and having me go over there. But I'm going to be honest, it's some of the most stressful. It was a very stressful environment for the way I was feeling. Players were coming up to me and they were trying to give me their condolence and just overall, letting me know that they're there for me, which I really appreciate. It's just that my mood, if people saw me while I was at that convention center, they would have probably saw a different side of me. I was very upset. I didn't really want to communicate with many people. I was talking to a few individuals, and there were moments throughout the day that I would talk to some people when I felt a little bit better, but my mood was really off, and if there was anyone that wanted to come up to me and felt like I was unapproachable, I do want to apologize. I probably shouldn't have went. I actually went to Gen Con last minute. I had no intentions on going. And, I ended up going through a bad breakup. That's all I'm going to say. That's pretty much it, guys. So I'm going to go right into the deck profile and we're going to get this show on the road. Before I start, I want to give a shout out to Scott Dashy. Again, Eric, Eon, Jonathan, for all of them making my weekend feel better. There's a lot of you guys that I spoke to, Ryan, and a bunch of other people, Tony Ortiz and a few other individuals that I spoke to about my situation. And it was nice to be, semi-comforted. This deck profile, I started making a few changes to the deck. I believe this is card for card from what I ran from the tournament. I will be making some future videos with some changes that I would have made. But again, guys, I wasn't really focused, and it just sucks. It sucks when you're in a situation that your mind is, too preoccupied. So I wasn't as focused about the game as I could have been. But without further ado, we'll start it up. By the way, this is the top 16 map. I made top 8. Ironically, it shows Shenron and it shows Boma. So it sucks because if I would have played properly, I could have won this event and it would have made sense because of these two characters. But anyways, Dragon Ball, you guys already know. This leader can't attack. You can tap it, you can search up to 2 balls from your deck or life area and add them to your hand. You shuffle all the areas you search through. Then when you have all 7 Dragon Balls, you can awaken or use the wish mechanic. You go right into this bad boy. When you do wish, you can take a desire from your drop area and add it to your hand. Now this bad boy, his ability, you can draw 1 card. You could choose to use the desire card with an equal cost to your energy for free. Or you can use the ultimate, which is removing 7 balls. In that case, you can give one of your battle cards 10k and triple attack, which makes this leader very strong. So, to start off, we ran 3 Super Saiyan Blue Sun Goku. He's there mainly for the fusion. We ran 3 at all costs Vegeta, the other part of the fusion piece, and he's also a win con. Vegeta has multiple effects, as I discussed in previous videos. Essentially, he comes into play, you draw a card, you untap energy, and then you can use his skill, take up to 2 life. So for other decks, you can self-awaken or try to awaken if you need to. He gets plus 3k for every energy by doing his effect. Then if you have 5 or more energy, you get to KO a battle card. And he gains triple strike, which is pretty insane. So I just named a bunch of effects, which are very crucial. Now the Gogeta himself, Ultimate Fusion Gogeta. This guy is very, very good. For 1, you can Union Fusion, and it will cost 2 blue and 2 generic by discarding each piece, so he could come out on turn 4, or while you have 4 energy. And now Sparking 5. You draw 2 cards and you can select 2 of your opponent's battle cards and put them to the bottom of the deck. He's very strong removal against pretty much every deck except for anything with barrier. And then last but not least, the win con of the deck, which is our Gogeta Hero Revive. This is the guy that a lot of people complain about. For 5 energy, you can summon him, ditch these 2 cards. Your opponent, you crit a life. Then your opponent has to shuffle the entire hand back to their deck and draw 3 cards. He has Barrier, Deflect, and Triple Strike. And then with this leader, you can give him triple attack, which is pretty much a game ender. Now, I'm going to go for the utility cards, ladies and gentlemen, so bear with me. I ran 2 Crisis Crusher. Very good card, very good staple. Good against Kid Goku. A lot of matchups that want to pressure you with 1-drops, or matchups that want to build up 1-drops for resource. So you get free pops. 2, Newfound Power Purunga. One of the strongest 3-drops in the game. He can either, you tap him, you can either now choose one of the following effects: draw 2 cards, give one of your battle cards 10k for your turn and your opponent's turn, or you can choose to, the main reason why we run this, you can select one of your battle cards and select one of your opponent's battle cards. Every other battle card on the board, ignoring barrier, gets shuffled back up to each respective deck. So essentially, if your opponent has like 4 or 5 battle cards, I only have him. I can activate his ability. I choose him. I choose one of my opponent's 4 or 5 battle cards. Everything else that's on the board has to go back, which puts your opponent at a huge disadvantage because you pretty much board wipe them for free. I ran 3 Shenron, Figure of Majesty. Very strong card, pretty much also has an abundance of effects. For 1, he cannot attack. This card can also not attack, but you have to tap him in order to use his ability. This Shenron, all you have to do is activate, draw 1 card, And before you see the card you drew, you have to choose one of the following. You can choose to restand 2 of your energy. You could choose to select 1 battle card from your drop area with 2 or less and put it and place it on the board, put it in play. And or you can give one of your battle cards 5k and critical for the duration of the turn. Very strong card and very good, very useful. Again, these are my utility package. We have our 4 super combos, which is Temporal Rescue Trunks. The best super combo you can use for this deck. You build a drop area as early as turn 1. Now we ran 3 Mutaito, Skill of a Sage. Just a very safe card, a card that can pretty much get us out of any pinch if we need to. It's starting to lose more effectiveness, so that card may not be ran at 3 anymore. Just giving you guys a hint of some of the changes I'm going to be making. But very strong. If your opponent plays a big battle card, basically bigger than their energy, bigger than what their energy is, you can play counterplay, put them in play, and then you can tap the battle card being in play, and they can't restand it until their next turn. So it becomes like a time magic essentially. The last battle card I run in the deck is something a lot of people were interested in seeing, and that is the new Kaioken card. This guy was very helpful in some matches. He wasn't the greatest, but he was good. I actually won 2 matches with him, or 2 games with him throughout the entire tournament. Just a very good, powerful card. With other cards I have in my deck, I can get to him relatively early. And if I feel like I cannot, it's always 10k shield. Essentially, I can always either pitch it for some of my discard effects, or I can just guard with it as a 10k. Now, moving on to the Dragon Balls. I ran 1 1-star ball. You draw a card, you discard 1 card from your hand, and your opponent has to discard 1 card. I really like it in synergy with Super Dragon Ball. Super Dragon Ball costs 2 energy, you draw 4 cards and discard 2. So I basically have 2 cards in my deck that allows me to basically discard up to 3 cards, which is very good. And what's great about them is that they both can be used to discard one another. So against Mill, if I'm playing against Mill, I don't want to use Super Dragon Ball. I don't want to draw too many. So on turn 1, I'll search for these 2 balls specifically, activate 1-star, pitch the Super Dragon Ball. Against other matchups where I feel like I need to awaken quickly and I don't have time to slowly build up advantages, and I know I need to keep energy open, I will use the Super Dragon Ball and pitch the 1-star ball as one of my targets. Especially against Green Broly, Super Dragon Ball is very, very good because you can use it and still awaken that same turn and pitch your 1-star ball, assuming you're able to awaken by turn 2. I run 5 regular balls, Purunga Dragon Balls. They're your standard draw 1 card. 2 Dragon Radar. Dragon Radar is very good. It's an extremely powerful utility card. It costs 1 energy. Active main, you can choose to look at the top 7 cards of your deck for a Desire or Dragon Ball and add up to 2 into your hand. Or you can select up to 2 from your drop area, Dragon Ball and or Desire, and add them to your hand. So very useful. For my negate package, 4 Whis Coercion. Whis Coercion was very good, very helpful, and allowed me to pretty much stay safe during my games. 4 Objection, which is basically like the heart of the deck. It allows me to ramp and get ahead of my opponent, which allowed me to play cards like this. So typically I would pitch this either defending myself or using like Super Dragon Ball, 1-star ball. Then once I hit 7 energy, I can use one of my Desire cards to bring it back and really cause a lot of chaos. Kaioken, I didn't really go through the effect. Kaioken is very, very, very strong. He allows you, for 1, he has Deflect, and then for 2, I'm not going to even go through his energy exhaust because you never charge him. You can take a life. In that case, he gets 25k, and you look at your opponent's hand and select a card from it and discard it. When you have 1 life, he gains dual attack and triple strike. So that's something to know. And you can use his effect repeatedly in 1 turn. So essentially, if you have 4 or 5 life, you can just knock yourself all the way to 1 life and strip away a bunch of cards from your opponent's hand and really get a lot of value out of him. I ran 3 Personal Ambition, a card that I still really like and enjoy. It's very strong for what it can do in certain scenarios, but it's nice draw power. I mainly run it for the simple fact that I want my leader to have a target. So under normal circumstances, if you don't run this or this, and you ran, let's say, just regular Dragon Balls, Personal Ambition would just be good so that you actually have an effect to get off your leader. But that's just a little tip. And last but not least, I ran 4 World Peace. A mainstay staple, the heart of the deck. It allows you to pretty much get all these portions of cards. All it is it costs 4 energy. You can select one of your battle cards from your drop area with an energy cost equal to your energy or less and put it into play. So if I have 4 energy, I can get this, any of my lower cards. If I have 7 energy, I can get anything in my deck onto the board because my highest cost card is 7. So guys and girls, that is my main board. I'm going to go over my sideboard, but I don't believe I have all of it intact. So I'm just going to go over some of the cards I know I had. I ran 2 Son Goku striving to be the best. Very good against any aggressive decks, especially against the new type of Kid-Ku decks out there. I actually used this in my top 16 match, and it was very unfair. When I got it the same game I put it in, and my opponent really couldn't do much. It wasn't even his fault. 2 King Piccolo, Limitless Power. It was very useful against my top 8 match with Scott Dashi. I ended up putting a lot of pressure on him, game 2 and 3 with him, with the King Piccolo, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to win. I wasn't focused again, guys, and Scott, he was being a real cool, had very cool sportsmanship, as always, and it was fun playing him. So losing to anyone, I enjoyed actually losing to someone like that. 2 of the Friezas, Energy Barrage. Very good against High-End Mastery or any deck that has barrier cards. If I notice they run heavy barrier, very useful. I'm just going to overlay, guys, soon. I ran 2 Dende New to the Job. Very strong as far as being able to check this deck, so it's a good counter to itself. You guys should know it has Deflect. When it comes into play, I can draw a card, and then I could pay 2 energy if my opponent used any cards like Objection or Whis or any type of ramp. You pay 2 energy, you place them to your drop area, and your opponent gets burned for 1 energy. You could select one of your opponent's energy and discard it. I ran a Toki Toki. It's another way to search for the Dende. I had 2 Mafubas, good against this matchup and any matchup that throws out bombs. Even pretty good against Mill. Because if they attack into you, you could just warp. You could pretty much just Mafuba one of their mill cards and they lose value. 2 Bardocks, mainly for Broly or Baby Chain, anything that could bring out big threats early. And I had 1 No Escape Son Goku, I believe, in the deck, and 1 Fu. So that's for the most part what I had. I hope you enjoyed this. I, again, do want to apologize for my performance. A lot of people I know look up to me as far as, the whole Dragon Ball God. So, next time I hopefully will be more prepared. That's going to be the goal. Sometimes life is hard and it's hard to focus. So, guys and girls, I might end up doing more relationship advice in the future. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this profile. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And as always, this channel is all about you.